We're starting on a kind of a somber note today because of the terrible assassination a few days ago of Charlie Kirk. And I was trying to think a little bit about that and the evil that we have around us and the things that we hear. I was just a young person. I was a freshman in high school when we were sitting in class, in algebra class. I remember it like it was yesterday. And the announcement came over the PA that Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. It wasn't long after that that Martin Luther King was assassinated, and then Robert Kennedy himself was assassinated. That all seemed to be a very dark time, as a young person growing up and people's feelings. And then we had the Vietnam War. That was a tragedy and a travesty for the American people, how poorly those Vietnam veterans were treated when they came back to America. I always remind people when they talk about these things in a negative sense that during that time it was a draft. Those soldiers didn't voluntarily go to war. They were drafted and had to go and serve. And when they came back, they were treated so poorly. We still have Vietnam veterans in our own lives now. That's my generation. This Charlie Kirk thing was a reminiscent of the Kennedy assassination in a couple of ways. I remember that funeral when his little boy John was saluting the casket as it was going past the steps in Washington, D.C., and then the Charlie Kirk's daughter is also 3 years old, the same age as John was. And you think of the travesty of taking the life of someone, a father, a husband, a son, a friend to so many thousands, someone who really tried to turn things around toward Jesus Christ. Whatever his religious affiliation is not important. What's important is for us to recognize that there's evil in the world. And we can't just say evil. I think we have to be very clear to recognize that there is a devil. In our baptismal service, at the reception of catechumens, we say, vile, loathsome, alien spirit. And that's what happens. That spirit comes into us because we allow it. It's what happened to this young man who did this atrocity and all of those others that I just touched on a little bit. So we want to make sure that we keep our footing solid, we not become despairing, and not worry about the end times. We worry about the time today, because how we end our life on that moment will determine on where we go in the next life.